Dear friends, today I want to talk to you about something that each of us will face sooner or later: the loss of a loved one. I know that many of you are currently going through this difficult trial, while others have carried this pain inside them for many years. In such moments, it feels as if the world has stopped, and the emptiness within is so deep that it seems impossible to fill. Every day I receive messages from people who share their stories of loss. Some have lost their parents, others a beloved partner, and some have faced the departure of a child, the most painful trial for any parent. I feel your pain, and I understand how important it is to find support and comfort in these difficult times. But do you know what I have noticed? In each of these letters, there is something special. People write about inexplicable coincidences, about dreams in which their departed loved ones appear, about sudden signs and sensations of a familiar soul's presence nearby. And these stories are not isolated. There are thousands of them. They come from different corners of the world, from people of various ages, professions, and beliefs. Today, we will talk about how the soul of a departed loved one helps us cope with grief, how it supports us in our most difficult moments, and why this connection is never broken. I will not offer ready-made answers or universal solutions, because they simply do not exist. Instead, I will share with you stories of real people who have found solace and support in the unseen presence of their loved ones. And I will talk about how to learn to notice and accept these subtle manifestations of love, which is stronger than death. And why is it so difficult for us to let go of a loved one? It is not just because we can no longer embrace them, hear their familiar voice, or simply share news over a cup of tea. Each of us, after losing someone dear, faces an immense void inside, as if a part of our own soul has disappeared along with them. In the first days and weeks after a loss, we often catch ourselves thinking that any moment now, the phone will ring or the front door will open and everything will return to normal. We keep buying our mother's favorite cookies, leaving our father's glasses on the nightstand, or refusing to delete their phone number from our contacts. This is a natural reaction of our heart, which resists accepting the new reality. But gradually we come to understand that the physical presence of that person in our life is no longer possible. And then comes the most important question: how do we continue living? How do we learn to find joy, make plans, and love when the person closest to us can no longer share these moments with us? It is during this period that many people begin to notice extraordinary things. The soul of the departed seems to find ways to show us that the connection has not been severed, that love and care continue to exist, just in a different form. This may seem strange or even frightening, especially to those who rely solely on logic and reason. But thousands of people who have experienced loss speak of the same thing: an inexplicable sense of presence, an inner dialogue that never stops, a support that arrives in the most unexpected ways. The presence of a loved one's soul often manifests in the most ordinary situations in our daily lives. It might be a favorite song that suddenly plays at an important moment, or a photograph that falls out of an old book just when we need support the most. Sometimes it's the scent of a mother's perfume suddenly filling the room, or a particular ray of sunlight breaking through the clouds on a day when our heart feels especially heavy. Things that once seemed like mere coincidences now take on a special meaning. A white butterfly fluttering nearby on the birthday of the departed, or their favorite flowers unexpectedly blooming out of season. Many people notice that these signs appear precisely in moments of doubt or major decisions, as if their loved one is saying, "I am here, I support you." This connection is felt most strongly in places that were significant to the one who passed. It might be their office, where every item still holds the energy of their presence, or a garden bench where they loved to read. Many people share how, when touching a loved one's belongings, old letters, jewelry, tools, they feel a special warmth and comfort, as if these objects have become bridges between worlds. Sometimes even a simple cup of tea at the table where a loved one used to sit turns into a moment of deep inner conversation. And though we cannot physically hear a response, our heart knows for certain that they are here, that they hear us, and that they still share in our joys and sorrows, only now in a different way. Dreams hold a special place in communicating with the soul of a departed loved one. It is in dreams, when our mind is free from daily worries and anxieties, that the most incredible encounters take place. Many people describe how their loved ones appear in their dreams, healthy, happy, often young, just as they were in their best years. In these dreams, important conversations happen. Words of comfort and support are spoken, and sometimes even warnings about dangers. One woman shared a story about how, after her mother passed away, she struggled to find some important documents. In a dream, her mother appeared, smiled, and pointed to an old box on a high shelf. Upon waking, the woman found not only the documents, but also a touching letter her mother had left for her. These dreams are unlike ordinary ones. They leave behind a feeling of a real encounter, warmth, and peace. Intuitive sensations also play an important role in this invisible connection. People often share how, in critical moments of life, they suddenly hear the clear inner voice of their departed loved one, offering advice or a warning. Or they experience an inexplicable sense of presence, a light touch on the shoulder, a sudden breeze on a windless day, a chill running down their spine in an otherwise calm situation. Many notice that these manifestations become especially strong on significant dates, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. It is as if the soul of a loved one wants to remind us that they are always near, that love and the bond between us are not broken, even after their physical departure. And gradually we learn to trust these subtle signals, finding comfort and support in them. Over time, we begin to understand that our relationship with a loved one who has passed does not end. It simply changes form. It is like when a dear person moves to a very distant country, from which it is impossible to call or send a letter. But the connection between us remains, only now it is more subtle, more soulful, built on unconditional love. Many people find comfort in having mental conversations with their departed loved ones. Some continue to tell their mother about their successes and failures, seek their father's advice in difficult situations, or share with their grandmother the joy of their child's first steps. And even though we cannot physically hear a response, our soul, in some inexplicable way, feels their support and approval. This transformation of relationships is especially evident in letters to the departed. One woman shared how, after losing her husband, she began keeping a journal where she wrote down everything she wished she could tell him. At first, the letters were filled with pain and despair, but gradually they turned into warm conversations about daily life, joys, and future plans. These letters became not only a way for her to maintain the connection, but also helped her accept the new reality and find the strength to move forward. It is important to remember that this spiritual connection should not turn into a painful attachment to the past. The souls of our loved ones want us to live a full life, to find joy, to love, and to grow. They support us in moving forward, not in being stuck in grief and regrets. It is difficult to accept, but gradually we come to understand. The best way to honor the memory of those who have passed is to live our lives with dignity and happiness. Preserving the legacy of a departed loved one becomes a special way of maintaining a connection with their soul. It is not just about memories collected in albums or objects stored on shelves. It is a living memory that manifests in our actions, decisions, and choices. The souls of our loved ones continue to live through the good deeds we do in their memory. It often happens that after a loved one passes away, we suddenly find within ourselves the strength to fulfill their dreams. Like the daughter who opened a small bakery, her mother's long-cherished dream, as she was an excellent home baker. Or the son who completed the construction of the house his father had started. In such moments, we feel the support and approval of their soul especially strongly, as if they are helping us bring their unfinished work to completion. A legacy is also reflected in simple, everyday things. How we cook using family recipes, how we preserve holiday traditions, how we pass on the values and skills taught to us by those who have left. The soul rejoices when it sees that its work, love, and wisdom continue to live in the next generations. A grandson who not only resembles his grandfather physically, but also shares his kindness toward people. A daughter who has inherited her mother's ability to connect with everyone. Sometimes, a legacy is not revealed to us immediately. While sorting through old belongings, we find letters, diaries, and photographs that uncover unknown pages of a loved one's life. And then it feels as if we are getting to know them all over again, discovering new facets of their personality. better understanding their life's journey. These discoveries help us feel an even deeper connection with their soul. To maintain a living connection with the soul of a departed loved one, many people create special remembrance rituals. It might be a morning cup of coffee by their photograph, a candle lit on special days, or a walk through places they loved. Such rituals help us create a space for communicating with their soul, feeling their presence and support. It is important to remember that you can talk to the soul of a departed loved one at any moment. No special words or place are needed. It can be a quiet conversation before bedtime, a mental dialogue during a walk, or simply a moment of silence when we feel a special need for support. The souls of our loved ones always hear us, even if we just think of them with love. Many people find comfort in doing good deeds in memory of a departed loved one. This could be helping those in need, caring for homeless animals if the person loved them, or supporting young talents if they were involved in the arts. Such actions not only preserve their memory, but also create a special connection between the past and the future. Gradually, we learn to find a balance between memory and the present moment. The soul of a loved one helps us in this, sending signs of support precisely when we take steps forward. It is as if they are telling us, live fully, find joy, love. Your happiness is the best gift for me. And we begin to understand that we can keep love in our hearts while still being open to the new, that memories of the past can become a source of strength for the future. As we conclude our conversation, I want to say to everyone who is now experiencing the pain of loss, you are not alone. Your love for your departed loved one and their love for you have no boundaries. They are stronger than time and space. The bond between kindred souls cannot be broken, not even by death. Not even, right now, it may seem that the pain will never subside, that the emptiness inside will remain forever. But remember, over time, the sharp pain of loss turns into a bright memory, and heavy recollections give way to gratitude for the time you spent together. The soul of your loved one helps you through this transition, supporting and protecting you, even when you do not realize it. Listen to your heart. It knows how to maintain this special connection. Do not be afraid to talk to the soul of your loved one, to share your worries and joys. Pay attention to the signs they send you, in dreams, coincidences, sudden feelings, or memories. Each of these moments is a touch of love that transcends the boundaries between worlds. Remember that the best way to honor the memory of a loved one is to live a full life, fulfill dreams, and give love to others. Your happiness and success bring joy to their soul, and your good deeds continue their legacy. You will always carry a part of their light in your heart, and this connection will support you on your life's journey. Believe in the power of love, which knows no barriers. The souls of our loved ones are always near, protecting and guiding us. And one day, we will meet them again. Until then, they live in every good deed we do, in every cherished memory, in every beat of our heart. Dear friends, thank you for spending this time with me. I hope that our conversation has given you support and helped you understand you are never truly alone. If this conversation was meaningful to you, subscribe to the channel. Many more deep and sincere discussions about what truly matters await us. Share this video with those who are now experiencing the loss of a loved one. Perhaps it will help them find comfort and support. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Until we meet again.